ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददान्ति सुपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथां विदं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता शिवशाखां विदंश्च ये कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees for today's Bhagavad Gita class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, text 18. ज्योतिषाम् अपि तज्ज्योतिस् तमसा परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विशिष्टितम्। या मयूरी माता जैन प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा।
ज्योतिषाम् अपि तज्ज्योति तमस्परम् उच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विशिष्टतम्।
Hare Krishna Prabhu translation. He is the source of lights in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna.
Very good. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. About whom is spoken about? About the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, he is the source of light. Now we are getting this light from sun. Okay, and the sun's light is reflected by the moon also. So all this light, they are not emitting on their own strength. This is all by the empowerment of Supreme Lord Krishna. In fact, this is what the light emanating from the body of Lord Sri Krishna. The sun could give light. And what about the abode of Sri Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikunta? Is it illuminated by sun or moon or electricity? How it is lit up there? How it is lit up there? What is the slogan Bhagavad Gita regarding this? That is, it is not illuminated by sunlight or moonlight or electricity. What's the slogan? Anyone remembers? न तद्भाषयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः Yad gatvana nivartande tadhama paramamam. That abode of mine is not illumined by sunlight or moonlight or electricity. It is self-luminous. One who comes to my abode will never come back to this material world for perpetual suffering. Okay, this is what Krishna says. So here, so from where this, who is the source of that light? So he is the source of light in all luminous objects. So the luminous object is sun. At least in the material world, we know that it is sun. So from where he is getting this, sun god is getting this light? From Supreme Lord Krishna. He is beyond the darkness of matter. Okay, what is darkness? Is Maya. Okay, is shadow. When we turn our face from Supreme Lord, it is Maya or darkness or shadow. And beyond the darkness of matter, that is unmanifested. Okay. He is knowledge. He is knowledge, and he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in, so he is knowledge, object of knowledge, and is goal of knowledge also. He is situated in everyone's heart. That is the super soul. So let's see what is there in the purport. The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon, stars. In the Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, there is no need of sun or moon because the effulgence of the Supreme Lord is there. Self-luminous. So in Bhagavad Gita, it's also given, Natad Bhashede Suryo, Nasachangona Pavakaha, Yad Gatvana Nivartande Tadama Paramama. So in the material world, the Brahma Jyoti, the Lord's spiritual effulgence, is covered by the Mahatattva, the material elements. Therefore, what is Mahatattva? What is Mahatattva? Mahatattva is, it's all the material elements. Okay. Therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun. So that effulgence is not coming here. The Brahma Jyoti effulgence is not coming here because it's covered by Mahatattva. Okay. So from the Supreme Lord, from Pradhan, from the Supreme Lord, the Pradhan comes. What is Pradhan? The unmanifested nature is Pradhan. Okay. It is not active, it's in passive state. And when in that Pradhan, the time element is added, then it becomes Mahatattva. Okay. From Mahatattva comes false ego, intelligence, mind, ether, then comes air, then comes fire, then water, earth, like that. So this is that. The creation is coming from subtle to gross. And the annihilation goes from gross to subtle. Got it? How the creation happens? From subtle to gross. From Pradhan, we cannot see. Mahatattva, we cannot see. Okay. And when in Pradhan, when the time element is added, then Mahatattva comes. From Mahatattva comes false ego. From false ego comes intelligence. From intelligence comes mind. From mind comes sound. Then ether. Then air, water, air, fire, water. Then this earth. So like that. So it is coming from subtle to gross. And when the annihilation from earth, it goes up. Okay. Water, fire, air, ether, and then intelligence, mind, intelligence, false ego, like that it goes. And to Mahatattva, to Pradhan, then to Mahavishnu. Like that it is going. Okay. So it is ulta. So there, in the spiritual world, there are no moon, no sun, no electricity. Everything is self-luminous. The light that emanates from the Supreme Lord's body, it illuminates everything. The Lord's spiritual effulgence. is covered by the Mahatattva, the material elements. Therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun, moon, etc. for life. But in the spiritual world, there is no need of such things. It is clearly stated in the Vedic literature that because of his luminous effulgence, everything is illuminated. It is clear, therefore, that his situation is not in the material world. He is situated in the spiritual world, which is far, far away in the spiritual sky. That's also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. Svedasara Upanishad 3.8. He is just like the sun, eternally luminous, but is far, far beyond the darkness of this material world. So, actually, this material world is full of darkness. Because the sunlight is there, we can see. No, the material world minus sun means it's full of darkness. So we need some via media for light. In the spiritual world, that is not required. Self-luminous. From the body of Lord Krishna, the effulgence is emanated and it is lit all over. So his knowledge is transcendental. The Vedic literature confirms that Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. To one who is anxious to be transferred to the spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart. One Vedic mantra, Svedasara Upanishad 6.18 says, Tamha Devam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vaisharanam Aham Prapaddi. One must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he at all wants liberation. As far as the goal of ultimate knowledge is concerned, it is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Tam eva viditwadi mrityum edi. Only by knowing him can one surpass the boundary of birth and death. Svedasara Upanishad 3.8. So, those who are totally surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will be in full of knowledge. His knowledge is transcendental. He is situated in everyone's heart as a supreme controller. He is situated in everyone's heart as a supreme controller. Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere. And this cannot be said of the individual soul. So where do we find the reference that Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere? Where do you find this reference? Bhakti Shastri students. The Supreme Lord has thousands and thousands of legs, hands, heads, eyes, and all. Where this reference is given?
Ishopanishad.
Yes, Ishopanishad. Anyone knows their mantra? No.
Actually, he runs faster than he all that is there, Prabhu. I know that sloka, but not the sloka. I am not able to remember.
Okay. Anyway, even I don't remember sloka, but it is from Ishopanishad. Okay. So his Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere. It's from Ishopanishad. And this cannot be said of the individual. Do we have? So what's the difference between super soul and individual soul, Jivatma and Paramatma? What's the difference? What are the differences? Can you give me some similarities and differences?
He's Vibhu, Prabhu. We are only Anu.
Okay. And apart from that?
Both of it are Satchidananda Vigraha. That is the similarity.
Okay.
Quantity is different.
Sorry.
Okay. What else? Similarity and differences. Hmm?
He knows Prabhuji past, present, and future, everything we don't know. And we
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
present.
He is omniscient, he is omnipotent. Okay. What about us? Do we know past, present, and future?
Even present, Prabhuji, we don't know.
Yeah. So our knowledge is limited to our body only, maximum, at to a certain extent. Our knowledge is local. His knowledge is international. Okay. He knows that's happening in each and every nook and corner of his creation. Okay. Our knowledge is limited to our local body only. I don't know what our Purushottam Prabhu is thinking now. But Paramatma definitely knows. Okay. Similarly, Arun Prabhu doesn't know what I'm thinking now. Right? Only Paramatma knows. So he is all pervasive in the form as Paramatma. He is omniscient. He knows everything that's happening, both spiritual and material worlds. Is omnipotent. Okay. So all these qualities, these are some of the similarities and differences between. And as Mataji rightly said, he is spiritual, we are also spiritual. He is having Satchidananda form, we are also having Satchidananda form. But he is not influenced by Maya, but we are influenced by Maya. Because we have a covering of material body. He doesn't have material. Even if he comes to material world, he takes the so-called material body, is still transcendental. Okay. He can come in his Murti, Archa Vigraha. Okay. We cannot do that. He can come on his sweet will, appear, in the form that he desires. We cannot do that. There's so many. Okay. He is Vibhu, we are Anu, and the qualities of Lord Krishna is given by our Arjuna also. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam, Vibhum. 9, 10 qualities he is given. Okay. There's few of the qualities. All these.
Prabhu, can we also include like antiseptic, prophylactic, all that? I don't know the Sanskrit word for all that, Prabhu.
Yeah. It is.
Even that can be included.
Yes. Antiseptic. What is that word? Other word? I forgot.
Prophylactic.
Prophylactic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all our bad qualities will go when. Can that also be said as a qualities of super soul? Or?
Yeah, definitely. All this, whatever, his qualities are all spiritual, transcendental. As of now, our qualities are material. We have to convert these qualities into spiritual. Only when we transcend the 3 modes of material nature, it will happen. So this is, as I told you, he has legs and hands distributed everywhere. Therefore, that there are 2 knowers of the field of activity. So the field of activity is, this body, for example. This is a field of activity for us. As far as we are concerned, this is our field of activity. So there are 2 knowers. Who are they? The individual soul and the super soul. So we are the individual soul. For me, I am the individual soul. Okay. And there is a super soul, common factor in everybody. My soul is not in your body, but the super soul is in your body, in my body as well, in everyone's body. So one's hand and legs are distributed locally. So my hand is limited to my own body. My legs are limited to my own body. It is distributed locally. But Krishna's hand and legs are distributed everywhere. My mind is limited to my own self. My mind cannot be controlled by somebody else's mind. Okay. So this is confirmed in the Svedaswara Upanishad. Sarvasya Prabhu Ishanam Sarvasya Sharanam Brihat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul, is the Prabhu or Master of all living entities. Therefore, is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. So there is no denying the fact that Supreme Super Soul and the individual soul They're always different. So we have to understand the difference. Okay, this individual soul and the super soul are not on the same level. There are certain similarities for sure because the qualities Sachidananda are same. But apart from that, he is, whatever we have given the differences. Okay, he's a super soul, he's supreme personality of Godhead, and we are the individual soul. Ours is our legs and our hands and all other faculties are limited to our body. It is locally available in the field of activity, whereas the super soul is all pervasive in nature. So this is what the differences and the similarity, and definitely it is about the light that is emanating from the Supreme Lord is self-luminous. He doesn't require a third party for illumination. We require, okay? We need the service of Sun God. If Sun is not there, we are totally in darkness. We cannot see anything. The very life in this material world is sustained by the sunlight. Without sunlight, we will not be able to sustain. So, Hare Krishna. So, any comments or any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just I wanted to ask, can we think like that, like we are the drop of water and super soul is ocean?
Yes,
Is
sure.
it?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, we have the same quality as Prabhuji rightly said. In the drop also, the properties of the water is the same if we check the whole ocean also. So, in quality, we have the same quality, but we have the minute quantity. Okay, quality we have the same in quality, but we are compared to the Supreme Lord, we are very minute in quantity, just like the drop of water in the ocean. We are compared to the drop of water in the ocean, and he is compared to the whole ocean. Right, Prabhuji, you're right. Very good. So, anything else? Any other comments or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I'm sorry to make you repeat it again, Prabhu, but you were telling like earth, fire, water, ether, what was it, Prabhu?
When creation takes place from subtle to gross, annihilation takes place from gross to subtle. In that order, I said.
Prabhuji, if you really don't mind, can you just give me the order, Prabhu?
Yeah, order is from Mahavishnu, the Pradhan is there, from Pradhan Mahatattva, from Mahatattva false ego, intelligence, mind, then comes ether. Okay, from ether comes air, from air comes fire, from fire comes water, from water comes earth. Okay, and the opposite direction, the annihilation takes place. When the whole material creation is being wound up, it goes in the reverse order. Okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Anything else? If nothing, we'll go to text 19. Iti kshetram thadat jnanam yayam choktam samasatah madbhakta yedad vitnyaya madbhavayo vapadyate. Okay, Sachi Mataji and Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Idhi kshetram tada jnanam jnaneyam choktam samasatah madbhakta edat vignaya madbhavo yopapadyate.
Very good.
Translation, Prabhu.
Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been similarly described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature.
Very good. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. So, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. So, he has given a brief instruction, brief description of the field of activities, that is the body, and the knowledge, and the knowable. Who is the knowable? Who is the knowable? Who is the knowledge? The object of knowledge, the knowledge, everything is Supreme Lord, isn't it? In the
Last shloka he is just said.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all Supreme Lord only. Okay. What is that slogan in Bhagavad Gita we have learned? 15:15. Vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit veda videvacha. To know all the Vedas means to know him. Isn't it? 15:15. Sarvasya chaham Riti sannivishto mataha smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. To know all the Vedas means to know me, because I am the compiler of the Vedas. I am the knower of the Vedas. Veda means knowledge. With knowledge. Okay. So knowledge and the knowable. It's all Supreme Lord only. So he has, in summary, he has given this in brief. Who can understand this? Only my devotees. Devotees, what is the speciality? Why the devotees can understand? So what is the speciality that devotees can understand? Why the non-devotees cannot understand?
Bhagavan give them the mercy to understand it, Prabhu.
Yes, there is one element that is not there in the pure devotees, which others have. What is that? What makes him qualified? Krishna says, you are,
Priya to me.
what is that?
He says, Arjun, because you are Priya, dear to me.
Yeah, and one more quality?
Surrenderance.
Surrender.
No.
Non-envious.
Yes, that's it.
Non-envious.
Non-envious. The devotees are non-envious. So that's a quality. So that, gives them, to understand the Supreme Lord. So that's why he says, my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain my nature. So those who are non-envious can only understand him and attain his nature. Means, what is my nature means? What is the meaning of my nature here?
Transcendental.
Satchitanand.
Nature, that is Surupa. And when we attain his nature, where we'll live, where we'll go?
Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes, to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay. So Lord has described in summary the body, knowledge, and the knowable. This knowledge is of three things: the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing. The knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing. Combined, these are called Vijnana. So this is Vijnana. Okay, the definition of Vijnana is the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing, or the science of knowledge. Perfect knowledge can be understood by the unalloyed devotees of the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. The monists say that the ultimate stage, these three items become one, but the devotees do not accept this. Who are the monists? Who are the monists?
Who join in the Brahma Jyoti, Prabhu?
Yeah, but can you explain? Who are they? Yes, destination, I agree. But who are they?
No, Prabhu. Like maybe I'm not getting it. What
Dhyan is Prabhuji.
Yes, jnanis, the impersonalists. Okay, who think that, I am God, I am Narayana, I am the same, Tattvamasi. Okay, I am that Supreme Lord Narayana, because now I am covered with this matter, so I don't know. Once I realize, I become Narayana. Okay, that they are monis. They think that they are God. That's why they address also Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. You are Narayana. Why? They think that, now they are in the covered stage. Once they get enlightened, they'll become Narayana. Then their destination is, as you rightly said, it is the Brahmajyoti, after liberation. So they are monis. And who is monotheistic? Monotheistic means who
believe in one God, Prabhu?
we are all monotheistic. Yes. Then some people says we are, what is that? Bahudaiva Vadis, something like that. Many gods we believe in. No, we don't believe in many gods. There is only one God. These are wrong conception. Because we have many gods, okay, they think that we are, what is that word? I forgot. Anyway, many gods. We have there's not one God, but actually our philosophy is there's only one God. Some people mistake that we have many gods. There are many gods, but there is only one supreme God. There are many kings in India, or there are many ministers in India. There is only one prime minister. Right? Many chief ministers are there, but only prime minister is one. Similarly, there are many gods. There is only one supreme God. So we believe in monotheism. That means there is only one God. The rest are empowered representatives of that one supreme God. So here it is said that, where we said, the monis say that the ultimate stage, these three items become one, but the devotees do not accept this. Knowledge and development of knowledge mean understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness. We are being led by material consciousness. But as soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna's activities and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. Now we are covered with material consciousness. Once we become Krishna consciousness, okay, then we attain the real knowledge. In other words, knowledge is nothing but the preliminary stage of understanding devotional service perfectly. In the 15th chapter, this will be very clearly explained. Now, to summarize, one may understand that verses 6 and 7, beginning from Mahabhutani and continuing through Chetana Dhriti, analyze the material elements and certain manifestations of the symptoms of life. This combine to form the body or the field of activities, and verses 8 through 12 from Amanitvam through Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam describe the process of knowledge for understanding both types of knower of the field of activities, namely the soul and the super soul. Then verses 13 through 18, beginning from Anadi Matparam and continuing through Hridi Sarvasya Vishtidam, describe the soul and the Supreme Lord or the super soul. So, it is in brief, Prabhupada wants to give the slokas pertaining to all these different knowledges that Lord Krishna is imparting about the field of activities, about the knowledge, about the process of knowledge, about the knower, the knowable, the object of knowledge, the field of activity, the soul, the super soul, all these things. So, he has given all the verses that describing these subject matters. Thus, three items have been described: the field of activity, that is the body, the process of understanding, and both the soul and the super soul. It is especially described here that only the unalloyed devotees of Lord can understand these three items clearly. So far, these devotees, Bhagavad Gita is fully useful. So for these devotees, Bhagavad Gita is fully useful. It is they who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, In other words, only devotees and not others can understand Bhagavad Gita and derive the desired result. So if we really want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to become a devotee of Supreme Lord. Without becoming a devotee, it is not possible to understand Bhagavad Gita in its depth, or a surface level will be understanding. But in its depth, if you want to really understand, we should become pure devotee. So the process to become pure devotee is also given in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? So how we can become a pure devotee? Bhagavad Gita it has given, Srimad Bhagavatam it has given. So in all the Vedic literatures, elaborate descriptions how we can become a pure devotee it is given. So if we become a pure devotee, then we can understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is in its depth. Otherwise, we'll be what you call swimming on the surface of the water. We're not going into the depths of the water or ocean and get the pearls. If you go into the depths of the water, we'll get the pearls. Isn't it? Otherwise, we don't get pearl. We will be disturbed by the aquatics on the surface of the water. That's all. So any comments or any questions? This chapter is little technical. 13. Too much of philosophical.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have a doubt, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Vedas are knowledge. So you were telling like that Veda is to understand only the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
Now, why in the same Vedas Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha was explained to Prabhuji?
Because of our consciousness, different level of consciousness, we cannot immediately understand Supreme Lord. So through a gradual process only will be. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is required because we are in this material world. We have come here to separately enjoy from Krishna, and so Lord is giving us an opportunity to enjoy at the same time understand the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that process, just like as I always give this example, whenever we buy some instruments, some electronic items or household appliances, we get a manual, right? So
yes, Prabhu.
You get a manual. What do we do with the manual? We read that, understand, and try to know how to operate that instrument. Without studying that, we don't, especially very, very complicated instruments. So nowadays, the small items, without even referring that, but the complicated instruments, the equipments, we need to refer to that manual, isn't it? Only then we'll be able to, otherwise it will be chaos and it will be totally, what you call, it will be totally spoiled, isn't it? Without referring to the manual, it will be totally chaotic. Similarly, when this universe was created, the Lord has given us a manual, how to operate that, how to live in this universe. That is Vedas. So slowly and gradually, according to our level of consciousness, one has to study. So we have to go slowly, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. So when we are totally tired of Kama and we are kicked by Maya, left, right, and center, there is no other way to go but to accept this, but to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then that time we'll try to inquire, who am I? Who is Krishna? What's the relationship of myself with Krishna? Why am I suffering in this material world? Why some are very beautiful? Why some are very rich? Why some are very poor? Why some are handicapped? Why some are not handicapped? So all this, why we'll ask ourselves. That's why in the Brahma Sutra it is said, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Now let me inquire about the Supreme Absolute Truth, because I've got this whole human body in which I can make inquiry. The animals cannot make inquiry. The aquatics cannot make inquiry. Trees and plants cannot make inquiry. Only in the human form of life, it is possible to ask the question, who am I? Who is Supreme Lord? What's the purpose of my creation? Same question was asked by Brahma. When Brahma was created, from the navel of Garbhodaya Vishnu, from the lotus that is sprouted from the navel of Garbhodaya Vishnu, Brahma had the same question, who am I? No, why I am here? What is the purpose of my creation? What am I supposed to do? He asked the same question, isn't it? We too have to ask the same question. What is the purpose of my life? Is it for sense gratification? We have had sense gratification millions and billions of lives in our earlier lives. When we were cats and dogs, when we were trees and plants, when we were reptiles, when we were birds, when we were creepers. So we have had many lifetimes sense enjoyment. So do we want to again enjoy the senses in this human form of life, which is very rarely achieved, which is meant for self-realization, not sense gratification? That's why in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is also said, Labdhva sudharlabham idam bahu janmam, idam bahu sambhavante. Labdhva, we obtain sudharlabham. Durlabham means rare. Sudharlabham, very rare.
Very rare.
Bahu sambhavante means this material body. Bahu sambhavante means after going through many species of lives. We were aquatic, we are trees and plants, we are birds, we are bees, and all these things we have taken birth. Now that we have got this human body, okay, it says, Manushyam arthadam anityam. Manushyam arthadam anityam. This human body, okay, full of meanings. It is meaningful. Why it is meaningful? Only in this human body we can understand who am I, who is Supreme Lord, what is the purpose of my existence. All these things we can understand. But there is one problem here, anityam. What is anityam? Means temporary. We don't know how long we will live in this human body. Anytime it can be lost. Today I am this in my human body, next moment I may leave this body. And according to my desire and karma, I may take any other birth. So why do we waste this human form of life? Turnam yadet na patet anumruti yaman. Turnam, immediately take up to Krishna consciousness. Immediately. Don't waste even a single moment. Turnam. Before we fall down. Turnam yatet na patet. Na patet means before we die. Better late than never. Okay? We are already late. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj says, Kamaram ajaret pratnyu. We should have started at the age of Kamara. Around 5 years age. Prahlad Maharaj was very lucky to start even from the womb of her mother. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance, not even Kaumaram. I and all started very late. But again, better late than never. Okay, so that's why it said, Turnam, immediately. Now that you understood this human life is meant for self-realization, immediately take up to Krishna consciousness. So that is what Vedas, has given us dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So everybody is not on the same level of consciousness. Slowly and gradually one has to rise up. So Vedas, in brief, the purpose of Vedas is to know him. So only by knowing him, we can stop the vicious cycle of birth and death. Without that, it's not possible. So it's a slow and gradual process, those who are in different level of consciousness. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anything else? Yes. Deeptimati Mataji, Tarani Mataji, anything? Any contribution? I want to share something.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Very nice explanation.
Okay, now we'll read one more sloka 20. Pragratim purusham chaiva vidhyanadi ubhav api vikaramscha gunamscha vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Okay, Deeptimati Mataji and Tarani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and pranams. Sorry Prabhuji, there's some noise. Parth is playing Mridanga. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikramascha Gunamschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan.
Very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam. Translation by Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Material nature and the living entity should be understood to be beginningless. The transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature.
So here Krishna says, material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So, material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. We don't know when, this started. It's beginningless. Anadi, time immemorial. Immemorial means we don't know, we don't have the memory. Immemorial. When it is started, we cannot recall. Nobody can recall. So it is beginningless. That's why Lord Brahma also says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda. Anadir. Okay, beginningless. No beginning. Adir is original. And the transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So what are the transformation? Transformation takes place in this material world. Okay. Modes of matter, the three modes, Sattva-guna, Raja-guna and Tamo-guna. The transformation. So we take birth from, what is that? Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavanam jana tada dehandara praptir dhira satram namuhidi. Transformation takes place. And I am not the same infant I was 64 years before. Am I the same person? Person remains same, but the body doesn't. Transformation takes place. Shad Parinama, okay, the sixth transformation. And the three modes of material nature. Sattva, Rajas, Tamoguna. These are all products of the material nature. So by the knowledge given in this chapter, one can understand the body, the field of activities, and the knowers of the body, both the individual soul and the super soul. So the body is the field of activities. There are two knowers, the individual soul, super soul. Individual soul knows only about the local body. The super soul knows everything. The body is the field of activity and is composed of material nature. What is that? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. This is the body made up of. Okay. Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kam. The individual soul that is embodied and enjoying the activities of the body is the Purusha or the living entity. So whether you are in a female body or in a male body, the enjoyer, the enjoying tendency is called Purusha. Okay. So individual soul that is embodied and enjoying the activities of the body is a Purusha. So how you may think then how the ladies can be called Purusha? Enjoyer means Purusha. Okay. So whether we are in a female body or male body, the enjoying tendency, that's masculine gender. That's why it is called Purusha. We are all Purushas, irrespective of which body we have, female or male. And who is the Supreme Purusha? Only the Supreme Lord. He is only Supreme Enjoyer. In fact, we are enjoyed. And, but we treat ourselves as an enjoyer. That's why in the material world, we are termed as Purusha because we have the enjoying tendency. He is one knower and the other is the super soul. Of course, it is to be understood that both the super soul and the individual entity are different manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as we all know, So Amsha and Vibhinna Amsha. The super soul is So Amsha. We, the living entities, are called Vibhinna Amsha. Okay, it shows personal expansion and separated expansion. All that is emanating from the Supreme Lord. The avatars, his expansions, all are personal expansion. But the living entities, irrespective of what body that we carry, whether it is human body or aquatic body or trees and plants body, we are all in the vibhinnamsa, separated expansion. So this is a different manifestation of the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. The living entity is in the category of his energy, and the super soul is in the category of his personal expansion. See, the living entity is in the category of his energy, but the super soul is in the category of his personal expansion. So we come in the Tathastha Shakti, that is energy. As we all know, there are three types of energies: Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, Tathastha Shakti. So this is energy. Bahiranga Shakti means external energy by which all the material manifestation takes place. Antaranga Shakti is the spiritual energy by which all the spiritual manifestation takes place. Tathastha Shakti is all the living entities comes in that category. That's marginal energy. But the avatars of the Supreme Lord, okay, you take any avatara, they're all his personal expansions. Matsya Kurma, Maraha, all these things, they're all his personal expansion. That's why they're called So Amsha, its own personal. We are called Vibhinna Amsha, separated. In this also, the energy, Bhumi Rapo Anaro Vayu Kam Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. These are 8 separated energies of the Supreme Lord, if you all remember this sloka. Okay, 8 separated energies of Supreme Lord are Bhumi Rapo Anaro Vayu Kam Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti, separated energy of the Supreme Lord. But the super soul, the Paramatma, is not the energy, is personal expansion. So that's what Lord wanted to tell Arjuna. Both material nature and the living entity are eternal. Why we are eternal? We have the same quality, just like our Prince Prabhu told, like the drop of water and the ocean. We are all Satchidananda. Our soul, the self, is Satchidananda. Only the body is material. That is to say that they existed before the creation. The material manifestation is from the energy of Supreme. So how do we substantiate that we existed before the creation? This is slogan, 2nd chapter. What is that slogan? No remembers? Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that I was there, all the kings were there, and you are there. I forgot the beginning. Anyway, I'll recollect it, no problem.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Natveva Aham Jatu Nasham.
Natvevaham Jatu Nasham Nattum Neme Janadhiva. That is it. Natvevaham Jatu Nasham Nattum Neme Janadhiva. Never was there a time that I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor shall any of us cease to be in future. Okay, Natvevaham Jatu Nasham. So both the living entities and material nature existed before this cosmos was manifested. Okay, how we can, even he says, Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Under my supervision, okay, this material world is working. Material nature was absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mahavishnu, and when it was required, it was manifested by the agency of Mahatattva. So, Mahatattva is, from Mahatattva, the material nature is becoming manifested. Similarly, the living entities are also in him, in Mahavishnu. And because they are conditioned, they are averse to serving the Supreme Lord. Thus, they are not allowed to enter to the spiritual state. So as long as we remain conditioned, we will be staying in this material world only. We will not be allowed in the spiritual world. So we have to purify ourselves to become eligible to go back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual world. But with the coming forth of material nature, these living entities are again given a chance to act in the material world and prepare themselves to enter to the spirit. So the material world is a place for us to reform ourselves and go back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual world. That is the mystery of this material creation. Actually, the living entity is originally the spiritual part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but due to his rebellious nature, he is conditioned within material nature. So we were rebellious. We wanted to separately enjoy from Krishna. We didn't want to obey the instruction of Krishna. We wanted to be a controller. We wanted to be a proprietor. We wanted to be the enjoyer. So he facilitated to act as if we are controlling, to lord of the material nature in the terms of Srila Prabhupada. We wanted to lord over the material nature. We wanted to be the controller of the material nature. So Krishna said, so be it. You go to the material world. I have created this material world for you to act as if you are the controller. But in fact, we are not the controller. The Supreme Personality of God knows, however, how and why this actually took place. In the scriptures, the Lord says that those attracted by this material nature are undergoing hard struggle for existence. But we should know it with certainty from the descriptions of these few verses that all transformations and influences of the material nature by the three modes are also productions of material nature. All transformations and variety in respect to living entities are due to the body. As far as spirit is concerned, living entities are all the same. So we, all of us, if you take only the soul part of it, we are all having the same characteristics. Okay? But the material part of it, we have differences. So as spiritual, we are all having the same divinity, the same spirit. What? So Krishna is giving a detailed description of the field of activity and the living entity, that is individual soul, and the super soul, and the knowledge and the noble and object of knowledge. All these things is giving a clear picture. Okay, so any questions or any comments? Yes. Everybody wants to share something? The 21 will take next class. Karya Karana Kartatve. So don't you feel that this is a bit technical, this chapter?
Very technical, Prabhuji.
We have to read again and again. Then only something will go ahead. Anyway, these are all just for the knowledge sake only. We don't require all these things, but at least we should know what is what. Krishna very clearly says, why do you need all this knowledge? He is asking Arjuna also. Okay, I'll stop sharing here. So next is 21. Please make a note of that. So, Hare Krishna, I'll stop recording.